Imagine a rap superstar so powerful that even the toughest MCs tread lightly in his presence. Now that's the legendary status MC Hammer held in the hip-hop world. But why did rappers start to fear at the mention of his name? Was it his electrifying stage presence, his record-breaking sales, or something more dangerous, which many don't know about? MC Hammer, whose real name is Stanley Kirk Burrell, didn't start his road to fame on a stage or in a fancy recording studio. Nah, the guy came from the gritty streets of Oakland, California. We're talking a tough neighborhood where making ends meet was a daily struggle. Now that's where Hammer's story begins. Born on March 30th, 1962, Stanley was the youngest of 8 siblings. Now growing up, money was tight for the Burrell family. Now his dad worked as a professional poker player and casino manager, while his mom was a secretary. But even with his parents hustling, they still lived in a small 3-bedroom housing project in East Oakland. Sharing a room with 5 siblings? Nah man, that's what you call cramped living. So life was never easy for Stanley, but it was this rough upbringing that shaped him. Instead of letting the streets swallow him whole, he found his own way to rise above it all. Now he didn't just see the struggles around him, he felt them deep in his bones. Man, in them Oakland streets, Hammer's surrounded by street figures, the kind of people you don't want to mess with. But instead of shying away, Hammer embraced it. Now he learned the ropes, gained respect, and formed connections so it later defined his persona. Growing up in a hood like this wasn't just about survival. It was about finding your place and making a name for yourself. And for Stanley, that straight meant forging a path from the streets of Oakland to the bright lights of the stage. Which brings us to his street cred. This guy wasn't just some rapper who made it big. He had some serious connections in the Oakland streets, and people knew not to mess with him. Which brings us to Felix Mitchell and the 6ix9ine mob criminal organization. Now, Felix Mitchell was no small-time player. He was an infamous drug lord from Oakland, California, leading the 6ix9ine mob, a powerful criminal organization. Man, we're talking some big money here, with Mitchell reportedly raking in millions each month from selling crack and heroin. And guess what? MC Hammer was affiliated with the guy, growing up in the same neighborhood where Mitchell operated. Now, Hammer was part of the scene. He had connections, he had respect, and he had influence. Now, being associated with somebody like Mitchell was about survival in a world where only the toughest thrived. But it wasn't just Mitchell that Hammer was tight with. He had deep connections all over Oakland. From the corners to the clubs, Hammer commanded respect wherever he went. Now, people knew who he was, and they knew not to cross him. And those who did cross him, well, let's just say things didn't go all that well for them in the end. Now, when someone tried to diss him or challenges his rep, Hammer didn't just sit back and take it. Nah, the guy fired back, and he was not afraid to throw down like a boss. Y'all remember the whole situation with LL Cool J? Yeah, back in 1987, LL Cool J dropped a track called To the Break of Dawn, and he didn't hold back. Now, the guy threw some serious shade at Hammer, questioning his rap skills and calling him out. But Hammer wasn't about to let that slide. Now, according to the grapevine, Hammer's crew paid LL Cool J a visit after one of his shows, and things got heated. LL Cool J allegedly caught a punch to the face, and let's just say that it was not a friendly tap. But LL Cool J wasn't the only one on Hammer's hit list. Third Base, a rap group, decided to take a shot at Hammer in one of their songs. Now they made a jab about Hammer's mom, and that's when things got real. Now he saw it as a direct insult to his family and to his reputation. And there were rumors of a hefty bounty being put on Third Base's heads.
It's just ironic. I know where you was going. It's ironic that even today, 20-something years later, the Search Cat, he want his claim to fame to be, I'm telling you, Hammer was gonna have me, put in the dirt somewhere. That's ridiculous. I mean, that's ridiculous. It's ridiculous that you want that to be your claim to fame.
Man, and then there's Ice Cube. Now back in '91, Cube dropped a video for his single, True to the Game, and it seemed to take aim at Hammer. Now the video featured a rapper transitioning from hardcore to pop, with imagery that seemed to mock Hammer's crossover success. Now Hammer tracked down Ice Cube and confronted him about the video. Now let's just say that Ice Cube got the message loud and clear. There were rumors that Hammer sent his people to his LA mansion and trashed the place, the cars, everything. MC Hammer didn't back down from a challenge, and he wasn't afraid to defend his reputation. Now, as he once said, If you feel like we diss your matriarchal, that's okay. But you know what's going on in these streets. Why don't you man up and see me face to face so we can figure this out? There's some fighting words, man.
It wasn't like violence or anger. It was more like just, the local competition.
Yeah.
And, Hammer was a big dog, man. He got respect in the streets. He came from a respected crew, and they handled business, him and his brother Lewis and the crew. And, when we saw each other, it was respect and love. And then, when we weren't around each other, you take little jabs and talk shit. But it was that type shit.
Now, when it came to protecting his honor, Hammer was not playing around. Kind of like the time when MC Hammer got into a fight with Jay-Z of all people. Okay, so Jay-Z threw a line in Kanye West's track about Hammer going bankrupt, and Hammer was not having this, folks. The guy felt disrespected, and he made sure that everybody knew it, taking to Twitter to air all of his grievances. Now, instead of just firing off some angry tweets, Hammer went all out and dropped a diss track called Better Run Run. Now, in the video, there's a Jay-Z lookalike being chased by a devilish figure, and Hammer, being the ordained minister that he is, ends up baptizing the Jay-Z doppelganger at the end. I mean, talk about sending a message, man. Hammer didn't just hold back in the lyrics either, accusing Jay-Z of worshiping the devil and suggesting that he needs to find his way back to God. I mean, it's a bold move, especially considering Jay-Z's status in the rap game. So, does Jay-Z fear MC Hammer now? Well, rumor has it that after the diss track was released, MC visited Jay-Z with firearms in his car to send a message. And guess what, man? He even got into trouble with the law. And even at that time, MC Hammer was ready to fight the police. Quite literally, in fact. Now, MC Hammer got into some serious trouble with the law when a police officer arrested him for obstructing an officer in Dublin, California. Now, this happened after a confrontation between Hammer and the officer at a local shopping center. Now, Hammer claimed he was unfairly targeted because of his race. Now, he said the officer asked if he was on parole or probation, then tried to pull him out of the car. Now, Hammer felt threatened when the officer pulled out his gun and called for backup, leading to this situation for obstruction. Now, in addition to the obstruction charge, rumors swirled that Hammer was drunk during the altercation and even physically attacked the police officer, hurling curses in the heat of the moment. However, these claims remain unconfirmed, and Hammer himself hasn't addressed them directly. The incident sparked widespread attention, with media outlets buzzing about the arrest of the 90s icon turned preacher. Now, despite the allegations and the intense scrutiny, Hammer remained firm in his stance that he was unfairly targeted due to his race. Now, as the news spread, Hammer took to Twitter to share his side of the story, emphasizing the need for dignity and fairness in all encounters with law enforcement. Now, he turned the incident into a platform for discussing racial profiling and the challenges faced by people of color in America's criminal justice system. Hammer wasn't afraid to defend his name, whether it meant dropping diss tracks or taking his grievances public on social media. His ability to command attention and stand up for himself made him quite a threat in Hollywood and the rap industry. Now, that's all for today. Let us know in the comments below what your thoughts are on this, and make sure you subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you next time.